So the Talaria mx5 is basically done. I still have like 2 more things I need to throw on here and then it's completely done. But I'm going to show you guys today how I did this turn signal setup on here. Well, make sure there's one thing I have not checked, and that's that the horn works with everything on, because this is pulling about 4.7 amps, I think. We'll sit down and do the math at the computer after, but yeah. Turn on the bike. It's not fully assembled because there's still a few more things I need to change out and do. Okay. So we got the 2 up front. The middle light bar, because if I power the other 2, it will pop the fuse immediately. And then we got the rear lights. Turn on the turn signal. The front one's backwards right now, because I gotta take this wiring out, so I'll turn on the other one so you can see it. And let's see. Yep. Does not break. Okay, cool. So now we'll go over what I did. Okay, so first you got to buy a harness. There's a specific harness on the website, which I will leave a link to in the comments below. It is kind of expensive, but it is worth it. I'm going to unplug this and get back to you guys. Alright, that's plugged out. So there's a harness in here. You have to find your headlight harness thing and plug that in into your headlight. So your headlight switch is going to have to be on, which is why this is still here, but this is useless here for the horn. The only thing that works is the on-off part. I don't know how to do that. The tutorial did not explain it, and rather than me spending time, which I don't have, to make a wiring harness, I just bought one online that plugged and play. So I didn't have to snip any wires and do anything fancy and destroy the bike. So for the tail signal here, I just cut the bracket in half, and then I repainted it properly, and then I fed the wire through the seat. You have to take off the subframe here and then feed it up through here. There is some bolts that you can attach it to, and then you plug it into your... You have to figure out which one is which for these, because one of these is turn signal. I believe these 2 are your power, so he has an instruction manual, but one's for power to the tail light, one's for high, one's for low with my brake light that I have installed, and then there's also an actual brake light setup, but I don't know how to wire the brake light because it did not come with the actual adapter for my bike, which is the Talaria mx5. This is the adapter it came with, which I do not have a thing for. So after you plug it into your headlight, you'll have these wires. You plug those in to your tail light. Your headlight will have an actual direct plug that you just plug right into, and then you have to plug this in. This part here goes to this up here. And then you have your turn signals, which are plugged into here. Now, I had to cut these off and replace them because I went in a bog and I sunk the bike, pulled it out, and the turn signals were filled with water. So these are $11 on eBay. If you do damage them, $11 on eBay, just buy 2 of them. And then the headlights custom too. So once you have everything plugged in, it will just work. This part right here is just going to be the talking head piece of everything that you need to know before you go into this project. So first of all, your Talaria mx5 has a 5 amp fuse, so you cannot go any higher than 5 amps. Your horn by itself is 1.2 or 1.5 amps, and then their headlight, I don't know, and your tail light, I don't know if I replaced those. So the horn is 1.5 amps before you get started with this. Also, your fork brackets sizes for the front is 46 millimeters. So if you're trying to do a custom headlight, you need 46 millimeter brackets. Now, you want to be careful with the crown fork system, the brackets for the Talaria mx5. Mine stripped. The pain in the butt. I literally had to cut with an angle grinder wheel over here just to get that bolt off because it won't come off. And yeah. I had to buy new ones from the guy on Facebook. So if you are taking off the crown fork, you can take off the top and leave the bottom. Do not try to take off the bottom because you will strip the bolts out unless you have like high-grade professional tools, and even then, it's a bit dicey. You're better off just taking off the top one, sliding it out, and then doing what you gotta do and slide it back in, and replace those bolts as soon as you can because they are horrible. I've stripped so many bolts on the front fork, it's not even funny. Something I also forgot to mention. So if you're trying to calculate how many watts you're pulling, so let's just say it's 18 watts or 20 watts, just divide that by 12 because you're using 12 volt system. So 18 divided by 12 will give you your amp draw, and just make sure you don't go over 5 amps. Alright, so the first thing you need for this project, and you can do this yourself. I honestly don't understand it because I don't have enough time to make a wiring harness, so I'm just going to recommend this link here. StreetOHV.com makes a legal, they call it the street legal lighting kit for the Talaria mx5. So you go to their website, you click here, Talaria mx4, mx5, or XXX. So I clicked Talaria mx5. Taillight, I gutted it. I didn't like it personally. It's too dim. Click your selection, brake switch, forget what that is. mount plate. Do you want to have a license plate? Yes or no. How did you hear about them? And add to bag, and they send it and ship it. Now they have full-blown instructions here on how to do this. Next thing you'll want, in my case, I drowned my bike, so I had to buy these. Same thing, but these are $11 on eBay. So if you ever damage them, they're right here. You'll want to set up these if you're doing a custom headlight. I use these for that. I did not have enough room in the harness to add it to the turn signal, so I could not do that. And then you got your headlight here. This is what I'm using as a 3 light bar system, but I'm only using one as this pulls 18 watts. These here pull 0.3 amps with both of them combined. That's just the mounting bracket I'm using for the headlight. And then that's the tail light. This tail light uses 10 watts. Adding this in real fast, you will need 2 of these as well if you want the blinkers to blink. This is the smallest module that you can get. Otherwise, you can use a car relay switch. And to use it, you have to put it in line with your blink or with the turn signals. So connect it to your positive turn signals, and it will do the blinking setup after you do that, and you turn on your turn signals. Otherwise, it will be a straight light, and it will just stay on the entire time with no blinking function. And you will only need that if you're using the same taillight system that I'm using. Otherwise, if it has a built-in module, you will not need that module that I just linked. Now, combined all that for you guys, and currently with everything I have, it is pulling 4.1 amps, and that's including the horn, which is 1.5 amps. So if everything is going, it's 4.1 amps. Otherwise, it's like 3.8, but still under the 5 amp limit. That basically sums up how to do this because, yeah, I could show you guys the soldering and all that, but I've already done that. So if you guys have any questions, just leave them in the comments below and I'll answer it to the best of my ability. Or if you're trying to do anything else custom, I may be able to direct you in the right direction with that. But most of the products you buy should have wiring diagrams on plugging what to what, like the turn signals. I'm making this one up. Yellow goes to left, green goes to right. So as long as you follow the diagrams of that and follow the instructions on that website, it will be a plug and play process. You just gotta make sure you have the right connections for the turn signals. And other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Didn't take me that long to figure out. I'm signing off.